All right, so we got a cheap IKEA table here, plastic, and I don't know why they put holes in the middle, but it's not very practical. So just gonna do a quick DIY, spruce up your IKEA table. Pretty quick and easy. Just go ahead and grab your table. What you're gonna get by the end of this is a table that looks like that. And it's a little bit more practical. So, go over here. Yeah, the house is real messy. We're doing a lot of DIY projects right now. So, what I got is a piece of wood. I sanded this side's not sanded. Should be fine. That's gonna go right on top, hopefully. I'll have to see if this one's big enough. The last one was big enough. This one may not be. Alright. So, start out by taking off these screws here. Okay. Looks like this is the IKEA Marius table. So, reverse engineer the table. Happy New Year's, by the way, everybody. It's 2020. And stuff in 2020 has just gotten a little bit too plastic, in my opinion. And so I'm gonna bring that natural wood back into the fold here. So you're just going to loosen up all four of these guys. Okay, easy peasy, take those off. Okay, now, moment of truth. Let's see, should just come right off. Moment of truth is, is this gonna work? Gotta make sure that your holes are gonna hit the wood and not be too terribly close to the edge. It looks like we're gonna be good. One of them's a little close, so just kind of try and center those holes off the side. You don't want to be too close to the side. Ideally we'd have a bigger piece here, but these things are real cheap, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, these screws are not long enough to make it through into the wood. So what you got to do is you got to find some longer screws. The ones that I found that worked were roughly 80% bigger than the original screws. So it doesn't really matter what kind of screw. Ideally it's got a point on the end, because if you're doing it like I am, you're just going straight through. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set this plastic piece back on here just because it looks nice. I mean, might as well keep that. And then all you got to do is basically just apply some pressure here, and this screw should bite into the wood, and then you'll do that 4 times. And I would just kind of screw it down until you get a good you know, until this thing right here isn't, when that's not wiggling, that's a good sign. So, okay, so that's one. Okay. I got some old screws that are probably older than me, but that's okay. I like to recycle, and just make sure you keep your spacing with this. You don't want this to slide too much and have any of those get out of the way. Once you put your second screw in, you're pretty much you know, you're set. Just gonna put that there for now. Just gonna hang on just a sec. Screw this in. Just make sure your screw is getting to the wood. Ideally, you want that screw to get a pretty decent bite on it, but I wouldn't screw too much past the point of when it catches this plastic piece, because you don't want to strip it. Another way you could do this is with some you could use some pipe tape or something to clamp around these things, although I feel like that wouldn't be quite as strong. I'm going to use a longer screw on this one because you can see there's like a little bit more of a gap there. Longer screw will kind of get a little bit more bite on this. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know, using a drill might make this go faster, but I don't know, I feel like a DIY table in just under 10 minutes is going to be, you know, good enough. Okay. And lastly, do one more. Gonna use one of these old screws. I got this one off of an old table that I was scrounging. So yeah, depending on what kind of screws you pick up, you might need a flathead. It's always handy to have the Leatherman for this reason. Look at that guy, he's sleeping. Doesn't care. You don't really care, buddy, huh? Yeah, sorry, Bella's snoring. Okay, I'm gonna put this down again. Sometimes, depending on how rusty the screw is, you might have to give it a little bit more oomph. Going in. Phillips heads are a little bit easier to work with, to be honest here. Flathead is just don't get as much grip. Okay, so they're all on. There you have it. Got yourself a new table. Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's a little bit more classy. All right, DIY table in under 10 minutes.